So, hi ma'am, we are the group 3 and our topic is all about energy transformation. So, what is energy transformation? So, energy transformation is also known as conversion energy. It's the process of changing energy from one form to another. So, just like human needs energy to survive. So, because energy is the ability to do work, and even that the food that we eat provides energy to do work. So we can walk and we can do whatever we want to do because of the energy from the food that we eat. And we have several sources of energy are available for exploitation on Earth. So the most significant is solar energy. So later on, we will discuss on how energy is being transformed from sun to plants and all living organisms. So energy begins from sun as solar energy and converted to chemical energy by plants. So this transfer happened in photosynthesis. So we have the solar light energy. So it is the radiant and heat from the sun, while chemical energy is the stored energy. So plants can convert carbon dioxide into oxygen and glucose. So a common sugar consumed by most organisms through process called photosynthesis. So photosynthesis, which allows the plants to use sunlight as a source of energy. So plants convert energy from the sun into chemical energy. So plants are called producers. So because they can produce their own food and convert energy from the sun into chemical energy. And then we have the consumers. So consumers are organisms that eat plants or other organisms to get energy. So just like animals, animals eat plants in order for them to get energy. So consumers get their energy from plants and is converted into some forms of energy. So the energy they get from the plants will be stored in their body as chemical energy. So consumers tend to move their body for some reason. So the stored energy, which is the chemical energy, will now be converted into kinetic energy. So kinetic energy is the energy in motion. And then we have the decomposers. So when organism die, its remain will decompose through the help of decomposer like fungi and bacteria. So decomposers are responsible for breaking down the complex organic compounds into simpler nutrients. So they are responsible for breaking down the dead material. So the nutrients from the decomposed organism will remain in the soil and will help in the growth of plants. So all living organisms require energy for carrying on their vital metabolic activities. So the primary source of energy for living system is solar energy, which came from the sun. So the transformation of energy in an ecosystem begins with the energy from the sun. So this energy is captured by plants through the process of photosynthesis.
So first, I will introduce myself. I am Jona Marie Di Bacalares. So I'm going to discuss the biogeochemical cycles and the hydrologic cycles. So first, I will discuss the biogeochemical cycle. So in order to maintain the balance in the ecosystem and so that the organism can play its role in the ecosystem or to its environment, biogeochemical cycles are very important. it does not only to maintain the balance but most importantly to sustain the life of these living organisms. So I will give the cycle of the biogeochemical. So the main kuan ginadiri is the producer and the consumer. The producer is the plants and the consumer is the animals. So dili man mabuhi ang plant no without water and minerals. So first is rocks containing water and minerals, then the plants uptake, i-take to siya sa plants, then ang plants is animal uptake, which is siya man ang producer, so ang animals man ang consumer. So mo to siya ang kuan kanon sa animals. So ang animals food is mag-release man na siya decomposer, so ikan siya gikaon, so magamit gyapon to siyang fertilizer sa plants. So silang duha is naka-benefit. And then na-play po nila ilang role diri sa atong environment, silang duha nga organism. Then the second is I will going to discuss the hydrological cycles. So all living things on the earth need water, everything from people, plants, animals, and also small things like sa mushroom nag-need gyapon sila water to survive diri sa atuang earth. So very important yung kay no ang water sa atuang kinabuhi. So the hydrologic cycle has three major process. First is the evaporation, the second is condensation, the third is the precipitation. So I will discuss the evaporation. So evaporation happens when liquid substance or water become a gas. When water heated, it evaporates. So example, person nang mapabukal tag tubig no. Di ba ang liquid water sa to siyang sumasagulan siya heat because sa to man siya ipabukal. So di ba na siya alisngaw, na siya water vapor, mag-evaporate siya. So inana siya. Ang katong mag-evaporate to siya, mag-release og gas para nang sa sea lugar or sa river. Di ba na maginainit no. So mag-evaporate na siya, mag-alisngaw. Which is na siya mag-release siya katong water vapor dito sa atmosphere. Then the second one is the condensation. So the condensation is the process by which water vapor katong gikuan sa pag-evaporate, the water vapor in the air is changed into liquid water. Kay because ang katong water vapor is pag matigom to siya is ma-form siya katong clouds. Then mo na siya. If heat taken away from the water vapor, it condenses. Mawala na tong pagkuan niya ang heat bitaw. Sumunod na siya mag-condense, matigom siya, then mahimo siyang katong clouds. So the third is precipitation. So di ba ang precipitation is di ba ang katong sa condensation is na-form na siyang clouds. So ang precipitation is katong na din yang i-release, yang iulan na dayon, which is ang katong liquid water, ang rain or ang katong snow. So mo na siya ang nasa condensation. So ang precipitation. So ang precipitation is nakatabang siya to clean the atmosphere, washing out the man-made air pollution because ayaan namang iulan naman tiya to nga mga air pollution. So the fourth is natitranspiration, which is katunan ni siyang sa plants. So di ba is maulanan man gid ang kuan, apil man gid sa ulan ang plants. So water from plants turn to gas. So the process of water vapor being released from plants and soil. So mag-evaporate to siya gikan siyang roots to small pores, mag-release siya og water vapor or gas balik ito sa atmosphere. So ang mo ni siya ang cycle sa sa hydrologic which is mag-evaporate, then mag-condense, mag-precipitate dayon siya. Then precipitate is katumantong yan ang iulan, mabalik na po sa land or sa mga sea, rivers or lakes. So magbalik na po evaporate. So ana ray ang cycle. So to summarize, evaporation from liquid to gas, condensation from gas to liquid water, and then the precipitation is from liquid to solid. So that's all my topic.
The carbon and oxygen cycle. The carbon and oxygen cycle are very important not only for human but to all living organism. So ang carbon cycle or ang oxygen cycle is very important kayo sa ato tao no ug sa tanan nga living organism. Animals use oxygen in order to survive and give off carbon dioxide which is used by the plants. So ang animals kuno is gagamit sila og oxygen. But not only animals, Also kita, tao, di ba, need kaya natong oxygen. So, muna na siya. Animals, in return, they gave off carbon dioxide, same with us, tao, which is then used by the plants to produce oxygen. And in order to produce that oxygen, na ginatawag nga proseso ana. O ang tawag ana nga proseso is photosynthesis. So, what is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is a process by which green plants and some other organisms use sunlight to synthesize food from carbon dioxide and water. So, si photosynthesis kuno muna siya ang proseso sa sa plants nga kibali proseso siya sa pag-create sa oxygen o sa pag-give off sa plant sa oxygen. So, during sa photosynthesis, ang oxygen di ay is ginatawag na siya og cellular respiration. So, what is cellular respiration? Cellular respiration is a series of metabolic processes of breaking down glucose to form energy. O si carbon or oxygen cycle, ga-involve siya og major processes, 3 major processes and 1 minor process. So, first is si photosynthesis, second is si respiration, ang third is si combustion, ug ang ika-fourth is si decomposition. Now, atong i-further explain si photosynthesis. Photosynthesis di ay no, muna siya ang kuan yun, ang proseso sa usa ka plant no in creating or in kanang pag-produce sa oxygen. So, kini siya, for example, muna si carbon dioxide, tapos muna si plant. Si carbon dioxide mo kuha na siya moagi na siya kang plant o ginagamit ni plant para i-synthesize o i-convert si carbon dioxide into oxygen is ganit siya og sunlight and water. So in the process ginagamit niya pun si plant og green pigment chlorophyll, which is naani siya makita gid sa tanan nga plant. Kuan lang ni siya microscopic ning green pigment chlorophyll. So muna siya si sunlight, for example si sunlight, si carbon dioxide ug si water, moagi siya kang plant, dito sila mukan sa green atong green pigment chlorophyll. Tapos after ana nila ma-synthesize, after nila makuan ana, kung sa tao pa after magkaon di ba magbawas man jud ta. Ang sa plants lang is iyang waste product is oxygen. Okay? So the chemical formula for photosynthesis is CO2 plus H2O. And by the way guys, CO2 is a carbon dioxide chemical formula. CO2 muna siya ang chemical formula ni carbon dioxide. O si H2O is muna siya ang sa tubig. Kabalo naman siguro tawag sa ng tubig no, water. Then C6H12O6 is muna siya ang chemical formula ni glucose. Kani si O2 is muna siya ang oxygen or also called as dioxygen. Okay, now moving on. Ang ikaduhang major process si respiration. So kini si respiration, it is a process in living organism involving the production of energy, typically with the intake of oxygen and the release of carbon dioxide from oxidation of complex organic substances. Animals takes in simple sugar and oxygen, then releases carbon dioxide, water, and energy. So kini si respiration is kabaliktaran siya sa proseso ni photosynthesis. Diba sa photosynthesis is sunlight is muna siya ang oxygen or also called as dioxygen. Okay, now moving on. Ang ikaduhang major process si respiration. So kini si respiration, it is a process in living organism involving the production of energy, typically with the intake of oxygen and the release of carbon dioxide from oxidation of complex organic substances. Animals takes in simple sugar, and oxygen, then releases carbon dioxide, water, and energy. So kini si respiration is kabaliktaran ni siya sa proseso ni photosynthesis. Diba sa photosynthesis is sunlight, carbon dioxide, water, diba kay plants moagi siya. Tapos na dito sila mo kibali matapok sa kang plants, tapos kung sa tao pa after ma-digest is magbawas sa kang plants, diba mukha man siya oxygen emit. So sa ato diri sa respiration is kabaliktaran siya. So for example, kita tao ganid man tao oxygen, so kagayos tag oxygen, and in return pag after nato og kuan sa oxygen, ang magawa sa to is carbon dioxide. Okay, so kibali si photosynthesis o si respiration is kasalungat sila, diba, from carbon dioxide to plant tas oxygen. Ang sa diri sa respiration is to oxygen paingon sa katong gamit og oxygen, tapos after to is carbon dioxide din ang result. So chemical formula for respiration: C6H12O6 plus O2, dayon CO2 plus H2O, and energy is the outcome. So next, combustion is the process of burning. When combustion occurs, CO2 is released at the atmosphere. Natural combustion includes volcanic eruptions. However, most population problems occur because of cars and factories release CO2 by their burning fuel. So combustion din, no, in short, kanang ang bistig kabalo para masabtan ninyo. Ang example lang ng combustion is kanang factory, kanang mag-emit bitaw smoke like sakyanan, and ang also there is ang volcanic eruption. Usa na siya sa natural nga combustion. Ga-release na sila og CO2, or also called as carbon dioxide. And decomposition is a minor part of the carbon or oxygen cycle. It is when any organic matter, plants or animals, or even us human, breaks down chemically into all simple elements that we are made of. These elements return back to the environment. So ang decomposition is muna siya ang pagkadugta, ang silbi ang kamatayon ba, malata na bitaw ta. So there are certain bacteria na makatabang sa tuwa sa pag-decompose, og naay ang example is kanang mga worms, kana sila ng mga parasite worms, di ba, na may ubang mga worms nga muka kanang makita na to ng, for example, ay namatay nga baki, di ba, na may parang mga wati-wati diya, o muna siya. Ang tawag sila na is decomposers. Carbon dioxide is a colorless, odorless gas produced by burning carbon and organic compounds and by respiration. So muna siya si carbon dioxide. Possible sources for carbon dioxide guys is factories, transport, burning of fossil fuels, volcanoes, and also decayed organic matter. Ngayon na-appeal si decayed organic matter kay ang once gali nga naay kaning mamatay, mag-emit magyapon na siya kuan carbon dioxide. Ang utot mo gali part gyapon na siya sa carbon dioxide. And oxygen is a chemical with symbol O and has an atomic number 8. It is a member of chalcogen. It is a highly reactive non-metallic element and oxidizing agent that readily compounds with most elements. So For those who don't know what is chalcogen are a chemical elements in group 6 cetane of periodic table, also known as the oxygen family.
My name is Angelo Okay, and I'm going to tackle to you the sulfur cycle. And have you tried to ask yourself why some paints in some statues or buildings fade? So, ano kahaba nga ng makuha na to sa atong kaugalingon nga ngano kahang kaka-fade na siya dayon unsa kay hinungdan nganong ingana na siya. So one of the reason nganong kaka-fade ang tintal is tungod sa ulan. Kay tungod sa ka-acid sa ulan, mo na siya makuan dayon na ma-fade ang iyang pintal. So, one of the contributors of this effect is the mixtures of sulfuric acid to the rainwater. So, naada kunoy sulfuric acid sa rainwater, mao na siyang kanang madali niya pag-fade ang katong pintal sa kanang mga buildings o sa mga statue nga gikuan diha sa kanang nato. So to the rainwater, so nato siya sa naa siya sulfuric acid sa rainwater. So pure sulfur can harm to living mixtures of living organisms. It has also good effects to them. In this module, we will understand how sulfur cycle is important to our ecosystem. So, in this topic, we will know why the sulfur cycle is important to our ecosystem. So, ngano kunong ang sulfur acid kay importante sa atong ecosystem, no? So, the element sulfur plays a large role in the health of ecosystem. Sulfur has an atmospheric cycle, meaning that it's the cycle between the atmosphere and the ecosystem on the land and in the ocean. Sulfur is released into atmosphere when volcanoes erupt. So, ang kuan kuno no, gikan na siya sa atong bulkan nga pag mubuto na ang bulkan, then mo flow to siya ang sulfur kay mo kuan sa dagat, then katong kuan sa dagat mo kuan man to siya. So pag kuan niya atong sa kuan mo na dayon tong mag-cause sa mura mo sagol sa ulan ang sulfur acid. So pagbundak sa ulan mo na dayon to siyang maka-fade sa atong that is why ma-fade ang mga pintal sa atong statue and sa atong mga buildings. From the ocean in sulfur-containing compounds in sea spray and as the gas hydrogen sulfide, which is metabolic byproduct of some types of bacteria. Sulfur can be released naturally, but human activities greatly increase the emissions of sulfur into the atmosphere. like burning fossil fuels such as oil, coal, and it can contribute to the high introduction of sulfur dioxide into the air. Sulfur gas combines with oxygen and water in the atmosphere to become sulfuric acid. Then, from the atmosphere, sulfur compounds return to land in dry particles and dissolve the rain. Higher amounts of sulfuric acid in the rain can produce acid rain closer to 4.3. So, ang acid rain daw kuno is closer to 4.3, so which lowers the pH of soils, lakes, and rivers, damaging organisms and reducing the yield of plants. Acid rain is a broad term referring to a mixture of wet and dry deposited material from the atmosphere containing higher than normal amounts of nitric and sulfuric acids. So, na-add ako na siya nitric and sulfuric acids. Distilled water without any dissolved with no carbon dioxide, has a neutral pH. Some of the sulfur that falls back to earth is taken by and cycled through organism in terrestrial. So, mo to siya nganong importante siya sa atoang organism. Sa atoang organism and ecosystem.
My name is Albert Oliveros and my topic is phosphorus cycles. Kabalo mo ba nga ang phosphorus ay essential o kailangan para sa plant and animal growth? Ang phosphorus ay importante para sa ating production sa DNA o RNA. Pati po sa ato ang cell membranes o sa production sa ATP. Ang phosphorus din na siya makita sa atong atmosphere, so it moves in the cycle through rocks, water, soil, sediment, and organisms. It is a really slow process and it involves 4 major steps. First is withering. Phosphorus is found in rocks. Withering along with the rain breaks down to the phosphorus in rocks and travels to soil and into water sources. Number 2, absorption. Once in the soil, plants, fungi, and microorganisms are able to absorb the phosphorus and then grow some of it makes its way into the oceans and fresh water. Ang mga animals, pwede sila moinuman ng tubig and absorb the phosphorus like a cycle. Plants absorb the water along with the phosphorus and then animals eat the plants og ang phosphorus mobalhin sa lawas sa mga animals. And then
my name is Jason Ontong. Number 3, decomposition. Animal excrete and decomposes that are able to use the phosphorus in the waste material. Furthermore, if ang plants o ang hayop mamatay, ang bacteria mo-convert sa organic phosphorus sa process nga gitawag og mineralization. Last is the return of phosphorus to the ecosystem, and eventually the ocean undergoes decomposition forming layers of sediments. Cycle continues.
Nitrogen cycle. Nitrogen cycle is like oxygen. Nitrogen is essential for living things to survive on Earth. Animals and plants need nitrogen to build amino acid and proteins, which are the building blocks of life. Unlike oxygen, nitrogen cannot be absorbed directly from the air by animals and plants. So, ang nitrogen is siyang essential for living things to survive on Earth, animals and plants. So, kung walay nitrogen ang plants, dili po siya makasurvive diri sa earth. O ang animals po, kung wala siya nitrogen, is di po siya makasurvive. So, by the way, ang nitrogen DI is wala lang sa kanang, dili lang sa yuta, especially naapon siya sa ato ang palibot no? Kung napod siya sa kanang tubig na ginainom nato is napod na nitrogen. Basic facts about nitrogen. Nitrogen atoms are the essential components of all the proteins in your body. The base and DNA and RNA also contain nitrogen. So, based daw sa DNA, ato dong lawas food is kanang napuno po siya og nitrogen. Dayon 2 is our atmosphere is made up to 78% nitrogen. So nanon 78% man ang 78% man ang nitrogen kaysa mas dako man gid ang nitrogen kaysa ang oxygen. Kay ngano man dako siya. Like example sa kanang sa deserto, di ba kung walay mga kahoy murag alimuot nang gid kaayo kanang murag gamay ra kay ang oxygen maginhawa ka pero kanang murag dili bitaw nang pareha diri sa atoan na kanang kung naay manggoy kahoy mao mo gid poy naghatag pud sa atoa og kanang oxygen o kanang sa mga hangin. Then ikatulo is nitrogen must first be converted into other compounds because the plants, animals, and most organisms cannot use the free nitrogen gas. There are 4 basic steps involved in nitrogen cycle, namely nitrogen fixations, nitrifications, ammonifications, and denitrifications.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, ma'am. Nitrogen fixation. Nitrogen fixing bacteria in the soil and root nodules or legumes like peanut, peas, and beans convert nitrogen gas into ammonium ions. Small amount of nitrogen gas are also converted by lighting into usable nitrogen compound. Ang nitrogen fixation is isa siya ka chemical process nga gina-convert ang atmospheric nitrogen sa ammonia. So ang ammonia diay is isa ka colorless, highly irritating gas with a sharp suffocating odor. Example lang is gas, mga gasolina, basta kanang gas with ay mga bitaw nga sakit kay sa ilong. Then nitrification. Some plants obtain nitrogen from nitrates instead of ammonia ions. Nitrifying bacteria in the soil convert ammonia ions into nitrate and then into nitrates. Nitrification is sa process nga gina-convert ang ammonia into nitrates, and then ang nitrate is ma-convert into another important step in global nitrogen cycle. And that's all.
Hi everyone, my topic is all about ammonification. So, when organisms die, the nitrogen compounds in their remains are broken down into ammonia by decomposer such as fungi and bacteria. So, ammonification is an essential process in the nitrogen cycle, which is the natural cycle through which nitrogen moves in the environment. It is a biological process that converts organic nitrogen compound into ammonia, that is NH3, or ammonium ions, NH4+, by certain bacteria and fungi. So, during ammonification, dead plants and animals as well as their waste product undergo decomposition by the action of decomposer such as bacteria and fungi. That's all.
I am Emmanuel Menjos and my report is about denitrification. Denitrification is the conversion of nitrogen compounds such as ammonia, nitrate into free gas. The conversion is done by denitrifying bacteria. The free nitrogen returns to the atmosphere to be cycled again. So may tabo ni siya kung ano yung tabasa o kulang sa oxygen. Tapos ipawala din niya mga microorganism sa oxygen nitrate na naghimo ugas yung mutaka sa hangin o kaya po din niya protektahan ang kanansis o sa mechanism na nangawala. O ang free nitrogen mabalik daw sa atmosphere nga na cycle of electrons.